Silence. All stand and remain standing until the conclusion of the reading of the proclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, the proclamation. All persons having any business before this honorable court, please draw nigh. Give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Yes, thank you.
Admission of lawyers. Philip Leon Aberdeen.
May it please the court, I move that my father, Philip Leon Aberdeen, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Philip Leon Aberdeen be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Fatma Al-Mayahi.
May it please the court, I move that Fatma Al-Mayahi be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Fatma Al-Mayahi be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Camilla Mary Barton.
May it please the court, I move that Camilla Mary Barton be admitted as lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Camilla Mary Barton be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Charlie Emad Berrow.
May it please the court, I move that Charlie Berrow be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Charlie Emad Berrow be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hamjot Baj.
May it please the court, I move that Hamjot Baj be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Hamjot Baj be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Julie Ann Campbell.
May it please the court, I move that Julie Ann Campbell be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Julie Ann Campbell be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Brianna Marie Gianna Caputo.
May it please the court, I move that Brianna Marie Gianna Caputo be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Brianna Marie Gianna Caputo be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rebecca Wei Yin Chan.
May it please the court, I move that Rebecca Wei Yin Chan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rebecca Wei Ying Chang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Melanie Pearl Connell.
May it please the court, I move that Melanie Pearl Connell be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Melanie Pearl Connell be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Joshua Gregory Coslow.
May it please the court, I move that Joshua Gregory Coslow be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Joshua Gregory Coslow be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Stephanie May Cruikshank.
May it please the court, I move that Stephanie May Cruikshank be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Stephanie May Cruikshank be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sophie Kelly Dunn.
May it please the court, I move that Sophie Kelly Dunn be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sophie Kelly Dunn be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nonye Natalie Duru.
May it please the court, I move that Nonye Natalie Duru be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nonye Natalie Duru be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sabrina Ibrahimi.
May it please the court, I move that Sabrina Ibrahimi be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sabrina Ibrahimi be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Chian Gao.
May it please the court, I move that Chan Gao be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jane Gow be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Francesca Michaela Gazal,
May it please the court, I move that Francesca Michaela Gazal be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Francesca Michaela Gazal be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
David Joseph Sholto Gledhill,
May it please the court, I move that David Joseph Sholto Gledhill be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Let David Joseph Sholto Gledhill be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Benjamin Henry Goodhue,
May it please the court, I move that Benjamin Henry Goodhue be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Benjamin Henry Goodhue be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Summer Haydar,
May it please the court, I move that Summer Haydar be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Summer Haydar be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rebecca Hardcastle,
May it please the court, I move that Rebecca Hardcastle be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rebecca Hardcastle be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Emerson Manning Hynard,
May it please the court, I move that Emerson Manning Hynard be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Emerson Manning Hynard be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hannah Ruth Ashton Jones,
May it please the court, I move that Hannah Ruth Ashton Jones be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Hannah Ruth Ashton Jones be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sebastian Felix King,
May it please the court, I move that Sebastian Felix King be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sebastian Felix King be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Georgia Renee Koutsumis,
May it please the court, I move that Georgia Renee Koutsumis be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Georgia Renee Koutsumis be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Abhinaya Kumaranathan,
May it please the court, I move that my daughter Abhinaya Kumaranathan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Abhinaya Kumarathan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ahmed Lebdi,
May it please the court, I move that Ahmed Lebdi be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ahmed Lebdi be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alicia Macaron,
May it please the court, I move that Alicia Macarone be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alicia Macarone be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alma Gayathri Malavarapu,
May it please the court, I move that Alma Gayathri Malavarapu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alma Gayarathu Malavarapu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lewis Allen Manalili,
May it please the court, I move that Lewis Allen Manalili be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lewis Allen Manalili be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ronald Raymond McCarthy,
May it please the court, I move that Ronald Raymond McCarthy be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ronald Raymond McCarthy be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Vanessa Elizabeth McComb,
May it please the court, I move that my daughter Vanessa Elizabeth McComb be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Vanessa Elizabeth McComb be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lamise Meshurab,
May it please the court, I move that Lamise Makawarab be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lamise Makawarab be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Danny McHale,
May it please the court, I move that Danny McHale be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Danny McHale be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Azani Nizmin Miskin,
May it please the court, I move that Azani Nizmin Miskin be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Azani Nizmin Miskin be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Marie Dorothy Joni Noya,
May it please the court, I move that Marie Dorothy Joni Noyal be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Marie Dorothy Janie Noye be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Michael Nicholas Pahos,
May it please the court, I move that Michael Nicholas Pahos be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Michael Nicholas Pahos be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Carl James Panarello,
May it please the court, I move that Carl James Panarello be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Carl James Panarello be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nicola Radovic,
May it please the court, I move that Nikola Radovic be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nikola Radovic be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Wilkie Tan,
May it please the court, I move that Wilkie Tan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Wilkie Tan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Amy Louise Teagle,
May it please the court, I move that Amy Louise Teagle be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Amy Louise Teagle be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Demi Toe,
May it please the court, I move that Demi Toe be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Demi Toe be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Esther G. Ying Si,
May it please the court, I move that Esther G. Ying Si may be admitted as a lawyer in this honourable court.
Let Esther J. Ying Si be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kirsten Lee West,
May it please the court, I move that Kirsten Lee West be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kirsten Lee West be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Farah Bano Zaidi,
May it please the court, I move that Farah Barnes be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Faro Bano Zaidi be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lucas Ziggis,
May it please the court, I move that Lucas Zygus be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lucas Zygus be admitted as a lawyer of this court. It will be necessary for those applicants whose admission has been moved to stand and remain standing for the purpose of swearing an oath or making a declaration. Please stand as directed by the officiating officer.
would the first two rows please stand? Philip Leon Abadi, Fatma Al-Mayahi, Camilla Mary Barton, Charlie Emad Barrow, Hamjot Baj, Julie Ann Campbell, Brianna Marie Gianna Caputo, Rebecca Wei Yin Chan, Melanie Pearl Connell, Joshua Gregory Coslow, Stephanie May Cruikshank, Sophie Kelly Dunn, Nonye Natalie Duru, Sabrina Ibrahimi, Chan Gao. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state, according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability. Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? Would you please be seated? Would the third and fourth row please stand? Francesca Michaela Gazal, David Joseph Sholto Gledhill, Benjamin Henry Goodhue, Summer Haidar, Rebecca Hardcastle, Emerson Manning Hynard, Hannah Ruth Ashton Jones, Sebastian Felix King, Georgia Renee Kutsumas, Abhinaya Kumaranathan, Ahmed Lebdi, Alicia Macaron, Alma Gayatri Malavarapu, Lewis Allen Manalili, Ronald Raymond McCarthy, Vanessa Elizabeth McComb, Lamise Mashurab, Danny McHale, Azani Nisman Miskin. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state, according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? Would you please be seated? Will the final two rows please stand? Marie Dorothy Joni Noya, Michael Nicholas Pahos, Carl James Panarello, Nicola Radovich, Wilkie Tan, Amy Louise Teagle, Demi To, Esther G. Ying Si, Kirsten Lee West, Farah Bano Zaidi, Lucas Ziggis. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state, according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? Would you please be seated?
Now that the formal part of the proceedings is over, may I warmly welcome you all to the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today is Justice White, to my right, and Justice Brereton, to my immediate left, both of whom are members of the Court of Appeal. Together we constitute the court that has, in the exercise of its discretion, admitted you to practice. We've done so sitting on the land for which the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation have cared and been custodians of for thousands of years. The court pays its respects to the Gadigal elders, past, present and emerging, and extends those respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. The Uluru Statement from the Heart is an eloquent, accurate and powerful statement which looks forward, and I quote, to a fuller expression of Australia's nationhood. In its spirit, we acknowledge the regrettable reality that this nation's laws and legal systems have so often in the past delivered the opposite of justice to First Nations peoples. Also sitting on the bench with us today are to my far right Justice Lee of the Federal Court of Australia, and to my far left Justice Abity of the District Court of New South Wales. The Chief Justice and all of the members of the Supreme Court welcome the new lawyers to the legal profession. Today is a day for celebration. You have all worked extremely hard to get here. No doubt you have memories, not necessarily ones you cherish, of countless late nights of study, grappling with obscure problem questions and studying more cases than you can possibly hope to remember. And for most of you, your journey has involved 2 extraordinarily challenging final years affected by the pandemic, and in which you've been deprived of many of the opportunities for the forging of close bonds with your peers that those years usually present. You've faced and come through an adversity which is unprecedented in our lifetimes. That makes your achievement all the more impressive, and the resilience you have developed will stand you in good stead in the future. It's in a spirit of optimism that I express my sincere hope that you enter the profession at a time when our society is exiting the dreadful impact of the pandemic. In being admitted as a lawyer of this court, you join a profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an oath on admission to practice dates back to the 12th century, and this court first admitted lawyers in 1824. By 1830, the names of lawyers were entered into rolls in this state, as you will enter yours immediately after this ceremony. You have now become part of this tradition, almost 200 years after it commenced in this state. Perhaps for some of you, or for your family and friends, that is how long it feels like you have been studying. Hopefully not. On that note, I'm also pleased to welcome those accompanying you here today, as well as those watching on the live stream from as far afield as Guatemala in Central America, New York, California, and Florida in the United States. For many of you, the support of your family and friends has been invaluable. No doubt they have been on the receiving end, however, of your finely polished skills of argument and persuasion, and I therefore encourage you to make a special effort to thank them for their patience. Depending on how good an advocate you are, you might even convince them to shout you lunch or dinner to celebrate the day. The law touches every part of our society, and it can and will lead you to many different career paths. But in whatever direction you head, you must always remember that the oath or affirmation you have just made is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, a Crown Law office, a government department or agency, or in an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. You must strive at all times to uphold those values. Admission as a member of the legal profession is a privilege, not a right. It's in acknowledgement of this weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the moving of your admission by someone who is already a member of the profession, and including your making of a formal oath or affirmation in the presence of your family and peers. They are all witnesses to the promises and undertakings you've made today. As to the formality of today's proceedings, you'll see from the portraits on the walls of this court that we are wearing today the same robes as have been worn by our predecessors. Symbolically, that highlights the continuity of the rule of law in New South Wales, in a world in which there is much global uncertainty and insecurity. The rule of law is more important than ever, and it's not simply a phrase of some theoretical import. It is the opposite of the arbitrary abuse of power and the rule of autocratic dictators and populists. Although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the profession remains unchanging. COVID-19 resulted in a rapid shift to the increased use of virtual courtroom setups and of technology to ensure access to justice continued in the midst of the pandemic. This has in turn given rise to challenges in terms of open justice, effective communication, and fairness to participants. Even though new challenges have had to be faced, new opportunities have presented themselves, including greater workplace flexibility, which is especially important for lawyers with family responsibilities. Better use of technology has also had profound implications for how our legal system interacts with and may become accessible to many people. including those in rural or remote areas and those with disabilities, medical conditions, or carers' responsibilities. Although the increased use of technology offers a number of advantages, the practice of the law has human nature and human interaction at its heart. An essential part of being a good lawyer is understanding people and how others react to different situations, and how they perform under pressure and deal with each other. As the Chief Justice recently said, whilst the remote practice of the law may be possible, it is far from desirable. There are, of course, other changes that deserve attention in addition to those brought about by the pandemic. Turning to the diversity of the legal profession, we must acknowledge that, first, that we have come very far, but secondly, we need to recognise that much still needs to be done. For example, although women were originally not permitted to practice at all, since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practicing certificate in New South Wales, and currently comprise 64% of solicitors under the age of 30. Women also occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the offices of the Chief Justice of Australia, the Commonwealth Attorney General, the President of the New South Wales Court of Appeal, and the State and Commonwealth Directors of Public Prosecutions. There should not only be gender diversity, but also strong representation of lawyers from the many different backgrounds which comprise our cosmopolitan community. Diverse representation amongst solicitors, advocates and judges assists in ensuring that all people who become involved in our justice system can, and feel that they can, be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. The admissions ceremonies on which I've sat in recent years, including this ceremony, highlight that there is a pleasingly greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers, certainly far greater than when I commenced practice about 50 years ago. You, as newly admitted lawyers, are in a unique position because you enter the profession at a time when, more than ever, your generation's words and actions are capable of influencing what occurs. It's being heard and taken seriously when it agitates to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unfair laws, about systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable members, or about sexual harassment or bullying. You should speak up for the things that matter and in which you believe. You're the future of the profession and will determine where it heads. I also urge you to engage with your communities outside the law. Your training as a lawyer in systematic thought, the importance of matters of principle and fundamental fairness, including due process and natural justice, equip you very well for service outside day-to-day practice. You will also derive great satisfaction from such engagement. I turn now from opportunities to obligations. As a lawyer, you'll often need to make difficult ethical decisions. You must use the tools you have developed to think critically. You must not compromise. Must not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court and the administration of justice. One mistake you must not make is to give your clients the advice you think they want to hear. That will not be good advice. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, once said, quote, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same questions for the same reasons, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur. It's imperative that you do this." Being a lawyer means that you're an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum, but the law as it applies to people's lives. An individual in need of your services as a lawyer is in most cases an individual facing some kind of great personal challenge affecting his or her liberty, property, personal well-being, health, or financial position. For these reasons, you must always strive to give legal services sensitively, competently, and fearlessly, but always with courtesy and integrity. In this context, I wish to emphasise the importance of civility. Aspects of the law, especially in the litigation side of practice, are confrontational. The practice of the law can be stressful and demanding enough without personal animus and antagonism between practitioners adding to the load. It's essential that you maintain your detachment, balance, and good humour, remembering at all times that you're members of a profession and not of a business. And remember this, the best advocates can and do make their point simply and succinctly. Often less is more. Some of the most experienced lawyers and judges could also use that reminder from time to time, not including my colleagues on the bench, of course. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible. One of your roles as a lawyer will be to make law accessible to others, particularly the vulnerable, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, at other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes doing both. Strive to be clear and concise at all times, in both your writing and your speaking. I also want to speak about failure. In this court today, there will inevitably be quite a few overachievers and perfectionists. Even those people, however, will at various points of their careers make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. We all make mistakes from time to time, especially when we're starting something new. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice. When you do make mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from your errors. Finally, you should recognize that your physical and mental health are both extremely important. There may, and I dare say will, be times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out, or distressed. Legal practice can be all-consuming and physically and mentally taxing. You must work hard to keep your balance, and you must keep your eye out to ensure that your colleagues do as well. If you do get overwhelmed by it all, as frankly as we have all been at times, try to take a step back and recapture some perspective, or if you have colleagues that are overwhelmed, suggest that they do so. In this context, also remember that the law is a highly collegiate profession, and in times of difficulty, the support and friendship of your peers will prove invaluable. You should also not be afraid to seek professional help if you need it. Both the Law Society and Bar Association are finely attuned to the potential stresses of practice. I wish to say this to you in closing. The law is a wonderful profession, stimulating, challenging, and satisfying, and populated by intelligent, committed, and dynamic people. You should be proud to be a lawyer and of your achievement in becoming one. The law is a very important profession, and a legal career is one that can take you in many different, interesting, and rewarding directions. The very best of luck to all of you. On behalf of the Chief Justice and all the judges of the Supreme Court, I once again congratulate you on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The court will now adjourn.
All stand. This honourable court is now adjourned. God save the Queen.